Yo, what's good, Meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your returning champion, IFBB Pro Matt Vitale, coming at you with another topic. And today, it's going to be mindset related. We are going to be talking about reminding you who you are. Okay, and the reason why we're talking about this today is because I had sort of an epiphany the other day, and we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. So, guys, we're going to be talking about who you are, remembering who the fuck you are, especially when you're stressed out. Okay, if that's something that if you've been feeling stressed recently or life has just been repetitive, then this is the episode for you. All right, so before we dive in, I'm just going to let you guys and girls know, if you do get value from this podcast or anything that I do, any content that I post, please don't forget to like, share, and comment. This podcast, it really does mean a lot to me, being able to help other people for free. And if it means a lot to you, I would love to see your support. And it really does go a long way. All right. So share it out to somebody or like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is that you can do to show support. I would really, really appreciate it. All right. So I wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. Let's talk about remembering who you are. Okay. So as I said in the start of this episode, guys, I was laying in my bed a couple of days ago. Okay. And I won't lie, I was a bit stressed out. Okay. And then it dawned on me, sometimes we forget who we are, you know, and I know I forgot who I was and sort of what I've accomplished. Like, again, the saying, if you haven't heard it here, then you've heard it somewhere else or read it somewhere else on social media, where it goes like, thank yourself, or something along the lines of that, because you are today where you wanted to be 5 years ago. Again, you are here in this position today, and in this position is where you wanted to be 5 years ago. And it's true. When I sit there and I think, like, fuck, what was going on 5 years ago? I'm like, I was about 20 years old. For those of you that do know, I had in my Instagram bio, I was like, I'll be an IFBB pro by the year 2020. Fortunately for everybody else that was doubting me, that show was canceled in 2020, so I couldn't do it. But the very next year, if you can see behind me on the live stream, I got the IFBB pro card, right? So 5 years ago, man, I wanted to be an IFBB pro. 5 years ago, I wanted my business to take off. 5 years ago, I wanted so many things. I wanted a relationship, man. 5 years ago, there were so many things, 5 years ago that I have now that I didn't have, that I honestly was just not grateful for because of the day-to-day stresses that we often, experience. And it sort of just kind of numbed me to it. Like, I remember the first week I was an IFBB pro, I'd wake up and then I'd, run to look at the card and just stare at it and be like, wow, what the fuck? Like, this is real. Like, pinch me. Like, what the fuck? Like, I would, and people talking to me that, oh, IFBB Pro Matt. I'm like, what? Like, it took a while to sink in. I remember how excited I was when, and I'm just going to be vulnerable here. If one of my mentors are listening to this, thank you so much. Again, shout out to the CLA, formerly known as 10K Academy. I probably shouted them out in my other podcast episodes. They really did help me scale my business up to over 5 figures in one single month. And after I turned pro, I ended up making around $14,000 in a month. And, again, kudos to them. I did take the risk. I did invest in them, and I still am with them. They're like the motherfucking goats of the coaching industry, and they helped me so much. And to them, I say thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Cole. And thank you, everybody else that's a part of the CLA, the community and the coaches, because you guys really did help me a lot. But getting back on topic here, I remember having all these huge goals. I remember being a security guard. Oh, I remember this so vividly. I remember being a security guard, and I would have to like sneak into the washroom and beg my supervisor to cover for me, so that our manager, our boss, didn't find out. That I would hide in the washroom and I'd try to build my business, listen to podcasts, like one podcast which you're listening to right now, the Meathead of the Mic podcast, which is mainly the reason why I even do podcasts, because I understand the value of it, because I listen to them and they help me with the free information to help build my business, and also my mindset and so on and so forth. And I would also hide in the lunchroom and and I would eat extra meals so that I could, because we only had like 3 lunches, one 30-minute break and then two 15-minute breaks. And I don't know about you guys, but it's very hard to eat 4 to 5 meals within a total time span of 1 hour. Right. So I would have to sneak into, one of our shuttle vans, eat there, or sneak into the lunchroom and eat there, and have my supervisor, who's super cool, shout out to him, Timothy, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. If you ever listen to this episode, you saved my ass and you helped me get ready, for my shows and stuff just by being a nice guy. And I still owe you those shaker cups that I said I'd give you. So if you're listening to this, shoot me a DM. I'll give you some free shaker cups. But yeah, I remember these things. I remember like being like, oh, fuck, man. Like I wish I could just have the freedom to eat, the meals that I want to eat when I want to eat them. I want the freedom to go on vacation or take trips or travel, fly anywhere that I want to, whenever I want to. I want the freedom. I want to be able to build my life. Like I remember 5 years ago, I was in this position of like just wanting so much. And now that I am here, even though I am grateful, I'll be honest, I have to practice more gratitude. I like kind of forgot, who I was, or at least, what I wanted to do and how I got here and how important this shit actually fucking means to me. Like, this is very important. These things in my life, I value them. Like I woke up every single day. I remember 5 o'clock, my eyes were burning, going to work, and I'm carrying my fucking 40-pound lunch bag with all my meals and all my water, and I'm just like writing down notes as I'm listening to this podcast. I think it's called the Change Lives and Make Money podcast. It's hosted from one of the head coaches, I think the founder of the CLA, Brian Mark. And I would just like listen to this thing repeatedly. And I just remember I have so much excitement knowing that I'm learning more to do more, to get more closer to the thing that I wanted to do. And then, going to nationals and competing and, winning nationals and, like all those things. And I just remember how it felt, the good, the joy, the euphoric excitement, you know what I mean? And, when we get to this point, or even when time goes by and we've achieved the things that we want to achieve and we have more things that we want to achieve, we often forget about the previous things that we've achieved. Okay. And as a result of that, we sometimes forget who we are. And guys, like, I know I forgot who I was the other day when I was laying in the bed, because the moment that I actually sat there and thought of where I was 5 years ago and where I am today, I cannot lie, I genuinely fucking smiled. Like I genuinely smiled. Like I couldn't even hold the joy back. Like it felt like I was a kid in Christmas. Like I thought about it. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? That's who I am. I got Phoebe Pro Matt Vitale, who turned pro naturally. Successful business owner. I can travel whenever I want, wherever I want. I was traveling the first half of this year. I was literally on airplanes more than I was in cars. Like I was doing whatever I wanted to do. And I'm not saying this to, gloat or anything, but I'm talking to the old me, man. If I could build a time machine, I would let him listen to this fucking episode, bro. Because it fucking works out in the end, dude. It works out. All the sacrifice, sneaking in those meals, as a bouncer and working at, the auction lot, hiding from your supervisor, sneaking in those podcast episodes, working those 2 jobs, whatever it was, it all fucking pays off in the end. And I really want you to listen to this and think of where you were 5 years ago. And maybe right now you don't have all those things that you wanted to have 5 years ago. Maybe you haven't achieved everything. But that's okay, because time is still going on. And as long as you're alive, you got a heartbeat and you got oxygen in your lungs, you got a fucking chance. You have a real fighting chance. And I'm saying that as somebody who was literally born and raised in government housing. So you have a fucking chance. Okay. Like I remember, I'm still thinking about it right now, just how excited I felt the other day when I realized, most of the things that I wanted I've actually achieved. Okay. And it made me smile ear to ear. It damn near instantly rid me of the stressful butterflies that I had in my chest and my stomach that day. And guys, like when we get caught up in day-to-day activities, just the same old, right? It becomes hard to remember who you are or remember how far you've come. Okay? And it becomes hard in that case to fight doubt. It becomes hard to fight laziness. And it becomes really fucking hard to chase your goals if you're not even grateful or aware of how far you've come. It feels like it's just the same. Like every day is like the last. And, you wake up at the same time, you drive the same route to work, You have the same conversations with your coworkers, with the same people, with whoever you're, I don't know, maybe you go to a coffee shop and you talk to the same people. Whatever it is, you're doing the same thing every single day, and it really just sucks the life out of you. It just, we're not even aware of it. It makes you sort of like a robot. And, it really does make you forget who you are and where you've come from, where you're going, okay, and how to keep a mindset where you can understand and be grateful for everything that you've achieved. Does that make sense? Like, doing those things every single day, we don't have a choice. Like, you got to go to work, you got to, do these things, and it does get repetitive to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It's going to be dreadful to a certain extent. It's going to kind of like be mind numbing. It's going to make you numb to a certain degree. And we don't have a choice over that. But we do have a choice of what keeps us alive. Like, we can decide to feel differently. Do you know what I mean? Like, just living our life as we do makes us forget about things that bring us joy, that brought us joy, that will bring us joy. Like, and if this is something you're struggling with, if you're listening to this and you're maybe just pondering back in the day thinking, what did I want to do back then, and how close am I to that goal right now? Like, whether it's a goal to burn fat, a goal to start your business, a goal to ask that girl out, that guy out, whatever you're into, how different is your life now? And I'm saying different in a better way. We don't want to look in the opposite direction, because that doesn't really help you. And if you didn't listen to the other episode I dropped earlier this week, I don't know if it was 227 or 226, but we talked about the truth, and sometimes how the truth is just not worth listening to, because even though it's true, it doesn't help you. Like, the excuses that you have, like not going to work or not going to gym because you've got work, and you're tired because you had work and you don't want to go because you're tired. It's true that you're tired, but if it's true and it doesn't help you, you shouldn't listen to that information. You shouldn't lean into that information. I believe that was one of the topics that we talked about recently this week. But guys, back on topic, think of your greatest accomplishments. Think of the last time you were really fucking proud of yourself. Like, think of that last time you actually fucking felt unstoppable. I'm thinking about it right now, and it's making me smile. If you're watching this live, you can see me cheesing right now, because I felt fucking unstoppable when I did what I said I wanted to do and it happened. And guys, I understand that I'm lucky, and luck is just consistent effort and time, period. I fucked up so much along the way, like so much. I fucked up so much during my bodybuilding career. I've lost placings in nationals when I thought I was gonna get closer to winning my pro card at the time. I've messed up in my own personal life with my own integrity. I've burned bridges, friendships, relationships. I've messed up in my business several times. You know what I mean? I've messed up along the way, but the only difference is that I continue to move forward and get up. And it's very cheesy. I get it, but it's the only fucking thing you can do if you truly want to achieve what it is that you say you want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? And like, despite all the negative things that did happen, okay, despite all the negative things that did happen in my life, the positive outweighs the negative, because of how good the positive makes me feel and the actual reward I get when I see one of my clients burning fat. Their family member recognizes that they're burning fat. Their coworkers, whatever, they finally have the courage to ask their crush out. Their clothes fit better. They're more fucking confident. Like, that feeling I get couldn't pay me anything to replace it. Nothing. The feeling I get when I know at the drop of a penny, I could literally go anywhere I want to in this world, because I've developed skills and invested in people to help me get to a level where I can literally explore the planet on my own accord. I can make my own schedule. Like, these things make me feel unstoppable. And it wasn't too long ago, we'll say 5 years ago, just for fuck's sake, that I really wanted to develop these things and have these dreams and be a professional bodybuilder naturally. Like, there are so many things. Think of your greatest accomplishments, things that you did that made you proud of yourself, that made you feel unstoppable. Maybe for you, it was education. You got your degree. or you committed to going to university, or you know, whatever it is, you got a trade, like something you did, you built something, you helped someone or people, right? When you really felt like I'm alive right now. Don't you miss that feeling? We get caught up with this day to day, like, I'm just going to go do the same thing, go to work, eat, sleep, shit, all that. And then we often forget about what actually gives us life. Like, remember who the fuck you are, man. And I say that with my heart. Like, I mean that. Because when I remember who the fuck I am, I get excited. Like, I get hungry. Like, there's euphoria, there's nostalgia, and all in the right ways. Like, I don't remember who I am in the sense of, I came from this, when I was a kid, I came from a home that was in the ghetto and this and that. And sure, like, when I look back and I'm thinking, when I was a kid or when I was a teenager, I did some fucked up shit. Like, I did some pretty messed up stuff. Like, I dropped out of high school. I did drugs. I did so much fucking shit, man. Like, we could go on. I was actually, not the greatest kid. And I could look at all these things as reasons to why I can't get what I want in my life, or reasons why I failed, and reasons why life isn't worth it. And I'll be honest with you, I've gone down that route mentally as a young kid, man, as like a prepubescent child when my parents divorced. Like, there were so many things that when I look back and I remember, I'm like, yes, sure, those negative things. Guys, I've been arrested. Okay. I've made some pretty dumb choices, but those negative things, yeah, they exist. But the positive things, when I remember who I am, the things that give me joy, the things that give me pride in who I am, like real, I'm proud to fucking be me. I'm proud to look the way that I do. I'm proud to look at the mirror, to be in my skin, to have this influence, whatever, how big or small, this impact on the planet. Guys, you can feel it in my energy. You can hear it in my voice. And I want you to experience this thing for yourself as well, because God help me, this is something that I think every single human being, if they were able to experience, would have a higher quality life, would be able to truly just push past adversity, because shit's going to happen. It's going to get boring along the way. It's going to get hard along the way. You're going to want to fucking give up. But if you can tap into that inner feeling, that feeling of being unstoppable, or looking at your greatest achievements, accomplishments, whether they're at work, in the gym, in your relationships, and maybe you got married and you remember how it was, and you just got married, and those positive feelings come up. Stick to that shit. Use that. Like, that's a part of your identity. People say you aren't what you do, or at least try not to make what you do who you are. I kind of disagree with that, because if you're so completely attached that none of your positive things are attached to you, then life does become a little bit more difficult if you want to achieve more positive things, because you don't really care. It's just like another rock instead of another diamond that you collect. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying? And somebody here on the live stream says hard things can get you soft after some time. You just got to keep your faith in you. And I thought he was going to honestly take us for a troll there, but it makes sense. I get it. And we have other people on the live stream. Honestly, I want to include you guys in today's episode because I love the support. He says, happiness happens when you don't need happiness. And I would say to that, sure, to a degree. We don't need happiness to be alive. Let's just put it that way. But happiness does help. He says, eat good food, take care of yourself, and sleep. Definitely. Once you're living the dream, you feel amazing. Yep. Shout out to the people that are here, that are tuning in, and, just sharing their experience with us, and just continue sharing your experience with us. We'll be listening to that. Again, I normally don't include the people in the live stream in the podcast episode, but feeling really good today. And I know you guys are reaching out for a great reason. So definitely, why not? And guys, just getting back into it, I want you to remember who you are. I want you to stick to the feeling of knowing that you are also the positive things in your life. Like, I don't want you to think about you being everything that you've done, because then you would be all those negative things too. And here's where it gets a little bit backwards, because as weird and as reversed and as twisted as it seems, yeah, you are your negative things, but you're also your positive things. And believe me when I tell you this, your positive far outweighs and negates your negative. So yes, you are also this. You maybe used to be a bully. Maybe you used to be a liar. Maybe you used to be a cheater. Maybe you used to be a stealer. Maybe you used to, have all these bad things, these negative things, an abuser, a drug abuser, whatever it is. But you are also the guy who beat the drug addiction. You are also the guy who, found wealth out of poverty. You are also whatever it is that negates the negative thing that you are also. Like, understand that you can't just be grateful for the good things in your life and ignore all the bad things, because without those bad things, believe me when I tell you, you would not have those good things. Like, if I didn't drop out of high school, I would have never gone to the gym as hard as I did, because that was where I felt safe. That's where I felt I belonged. I felt like an outcast, right? And if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have been able to build the muscle and have the head start that I did at the age that I started training at seriously, to compete for the first time at 19, to become a national champion at 20, to, continue down the route that would end up allowing me to become an IFBB pro naturally at 23. Like, you have to understand the negative things in your life, when we look back at them, are also responsible for the positive things in our life. So if you were, born and raised in a shitty household, but that discipline taught you how to, be sharp with your money, how to, analyze situations and know when you are being taken advantage of, or so whatever it is, you got to thank the negativity, guys. That's also who you are. Don't make it your identity, but it's also a part of who you are. Because without that, you wouldn't have the fucking skills to be who you are today. You got to be grateful for everything, not selectively grateful for just the good things. Because without yin, there is no yang. Do you understand? Do you fucking understand that? Like, when I say that, I fucking mean it. Okay? Remember who you are. Think of the greatest things that you ever achieved. Think of the worst things that you've ever experienced and how you got out of it and how you felt when you got out of it, when you owned who you were. Like, don't you miss that feeling? We often forget about it, but I want you to remember it. Okay? And if you do miss that feeling, I'm here to remind you who the fuck you are. You're that guy. You're that girl. You are the fucking one. All right? And just because you aren't playing your best cards right now doesn't mean you can't change the game. I'm going to repeat that. Just because you're not playing your best fucking cards right now doesn't mean you cannot change the game. Why? Because you're a fucking game changer. Let me remind you, you're a showstopper, and you can be undeniable when you flip the switch. Okay? That's the only condition. When you remember who the fuck you are and you just decide to be that person and stay that person with integrity, the person who doesn't miss, the person who shows up for themselves no matter fucking what. And if you don't flip that switch, guys, the price is too big. It's the greatest price you'll ever pay. The regret, the self-hatred, you don't want to pay that price. Some of you listening to this have paid that price. Like, if you don't flip the switch, and again, I'm shouting out Bedros Keuilian because I listened to his podcast, and this is where it really clicked to me in my head. Because when I look at how I got to where I'm getting, or where I got now and where I'm going, I think of like what he said. He said something about flip the switch, and he always talks about flipping the switch. Because why? It's like, it's just a decision. You are only one decision, one commitment, one fucking step in action away from achieving the life that you want. And sometimes that action doesn't even correlate or make sense in the moment. Like, me dropping out of high school at the time didn't fucking make sense. I didn't even know why I was doing it. I just sort of didn't go. Truancy, if you've ever heard of that. And then it ended up manifesting into this shit. So, guys, and again, shout out to Bedros Keuilian. Check him out. He's got one of my favorite podcasts out here. I listen to a bunch of podcasts, and I create podcasts too, and I'm also inspired. I'm also a listener just like you. So if you like this podcast, go check out their podcast, please, because it's similar content. Okay, and if you like this, you'll like that, believe me. So guys, if you don't flip the switch, you'll stay in the darkness that the room in your mind creates when you live aimlessly with no target. I'm going to repeat that again for you guys. If you refuse, if you deny, if you are too afraid to flip the switch, that room in your head that creates that doubt, that anxiety, that makes it hard to be consistent, that makes you lazy, like that room in your mind will make you continuously live life aimlessly with no target. And that's the worst place to be, because then you're alive for what reason? What wakes you up in the morning? What excites you? What motivates you? Nothing. And then if that's the case, okay, if that's the case, of course you feel like shit. Of course you don't want to do anything. Because what the fuck's the point of it? You have to flip the switch, guys. The price is too big if you don't flip the switch. Okay, if you don't flip the switch, you know what's going to happen. It's the life that you don't want. When you do flip the switch, you can be like me and look back 5 years and say, holy fuck, where did the time go? I didn't know I'd get here, but look at where I am. Okay? If you don't flip the switch, you'll stay in darkness. If you do flip the switch, you'll see the light. You'll see the fucking light. I bet your life and my life, you'll see the light. And once you do see that light, you will then be able to chase it until you become the light. You become the goal. IFBB Pro, that's something I was looking at for so long. I'd see all my peers do it. You know, I surrounded myself with guys that were not pro, and then they turned pro, and then studied them. You know, worked with their coaches, figured out how to do it. And then once I got to that point, I'm like, holy shit, I'm an IFBB Pro now. I've achieved this thing. So I looked at the light by flipping the switch and then doing the action to get towards that. And then once I've achieved it, I became it. I became the light. I became the goal. Do you understand what I'm fucking saying here, guys? Like, do you understand? Okay, and some of it's actually coincidental. The universe does crazy shit, because one of the guys that I was just so when I was talking about turning pro and stuff like that, and surrounding myself with people that turn pro, one guy I surrounded myself with that I met at my very first show, Ramon Hayes. He just joined the live stream here, and he turned pro. I watched him turn pro when I won nationals and didn't turn pro, and I surrounded myself with him. I remember at work being on the phone call, the same place that I was probably hiding to eat a meal while I was on a phone call with him with my notes out, asking, what's your workout, bro? You know, what's your split? And then, you know, I'd try it out for a couple of weeks and add my changes and stuff. And guys, that's just how it is. In order to be great, you have to surround yourself with people that have what you fucking want. It's why I invested in the CLA, the Change Lives Academy community, to learn how to grow my business. It's why I've hired coaches to learn how to develop my body and expand my knowledge, you know, greater than what I was able to physically take in. Like, I expanded my capacity for knowledge and applied it to myself and applied it to my clients, and then again, rinse and repeated the process. Just continuously learn. Surround myself with other people. Tony Koch, IFBB Pro. I met him at my very first show as well. We're like brothers now. Right? If you're watching this on the live stream, I want you to go on your phone, check me out on Instagram, Matt Brutale. I just posted a recent post with Tony Koch, flashing back to the days when we were both competing at the national stage, naturally. And that was the year he won his pro card. And ever since then, I was, you know, him and his coach, I'd ask, you know, when can I come around? What can I learn? How can I help? What can I do? I'll fucking carry your guys' water bottles, man. Fuck. If I can be around you, if I can learn. And I did just that. And they gave me their support, and they gave me their knowledge. And then I achieved what I achieved. There's a way to get what you want if you're fucking hungry about it, if you do flip the switch. Do you understand? Okay? I hope this episode woke you up. I want you to remember who the fuck you are, man. All the great things that you've achieved, you can do it again. Matter of fact, you can do it bigger and better. Mark my words. All right? That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it with a friend, or like, comment, subscribe. Honestly, we're everywhere. We stream everywhere. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you can support us there. If you're watching this on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you can support us there. It's cool. I hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Also, shameless plug, if you want to permanently lose 20 pounds or more, eating clean 80% of the time and junk 20% of the time, you want to go on weekend dates, you know, games with the boys, whatever it is, if you want to do all those things without steroids, you might want to become a part of the Natural Nomad Academy, right? Where I'm the head coach, and I'll be able to coach you one-on-one to help you get your goals, whatever it is. Okay? So if that's you, feel free to give me a DM. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, anywhere. You'll see me everywhere. I'm literally everywhere. And I'll see if it'll be a great fit. All right? Let's embrace our inner meathead together. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB Pro, Matt Butale, signing out. Boom. All right, folks. Podcast episode's recorded. Coral, what's up, dog? Hope you're good, fam. Cool. Fossil Genetics says, bro, got his high school graduation year on his wall. Nope, that's not high school. It's actually middle school. So don't get it twisted, dog. Fossil Genetic also says, bro, doing TikTok lives for 3 people. Yeah, you're fucking dense, dude. I'm not bothered by you, but you are pretty dense. No, we stream everywhere. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, and then there's TikTok. So if you knew that, you'd know that, but you don't, so it's cool. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. We'll be back again with another episode tomorrow of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. Hope you guys and girls have the most sick-ass, kick-ass motherfucking Wednesday. IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out.